Hi, thanks for joining us for an exploration of CSS. This is a continuation from our HTML and CSS progress that we've made already. If you're ready to move on to CSS, feel free to open up your project in Glitch and we'll get started. So here's our 6-word summer poem page that we started with. And before we were working in this HTML file. Now we're going to go down to the CSS file. And actually, before I point that out, I'd like to highlight how they are connected. In the first video, we talked about the head tag, and it has content information in it. So down here, we have a link that tells it which style sheet is going to be used. You'll notice that it links the style sheet type, and then it needs the name of the file that it is referencing. In this case, it's style.css. If you were to change the name of this file, you would need to change the name here as well. So this is what allows them to work together so that they know how to style the content that you've already added. So in our style.css, you'll see that we have this different information here. All of these are referenced in the HTML file, again, drawing that connection so the browser knows where to use it. If we want to see where this definition is used, my summer, we can go back to the HTML file. And down here we see that here is where the my summer ID is used. So this is telling it how to align it. So the margin of the left is auto, margin right is auto, margin top they've defined by pixels. So you have 8px for pixels. And then they define the height, the width, background color, opacity so that you can see through it a little bit and see that picture in the background. A lot of different information. In the CSS file, there's so many different options. So I encourage you to play around and just try changing things. You can always change it back. That's how we learn and we're exploring. You can look for things that have color. You'll notice that it has a hashtag and then FFF. So that is actually a color in hexadecimal. And you can try changing it to see what will happen. So if I change it to all zeros, it changed the banner to be all black. In this case, FFF is all white. And now it's pink. So play around with different letters and numbers in there to see what it makes. Also reference these different IDs in the HTML so that you know where it's being used. You'll see here that banner, where I was just making edits, is all controlled in this. All right, so there's no real science to this. I find CSS maybe the most complicated because there are so many different options. So I like to go and reference some options online to see what things I might want to change. And W3 Schools is a really great reference site. We'll link that in the comments below. You can see all of these different property options. And I encourage you to use what's already in the project, but then also see what it might happen if you make some changes or additions to that. So if you're done with your project, or even if you're not done, but you still want to share it with people, you can go up to the share option, you can click on Live App, copy it, and share it with someone to go see what you've created. If you'd like to share in the comments your projects that you've finished, we'd love to see what you're up to, what your poems are or your thoughts are. And remember that this is just a way to start. There's a lot of options and lots of learning. but this is a great way to play around with it and go back to what was working before if you make any mistakes. Thank you again for joining us. If this piqued your interest in learning more about web development or coding, please check out our classes that we have for middle and high school students called Girls Code++ and Code++, found on the Nubo Co-Education website shared in the comments below.